Most men treat a hug as a throwaway social gesture, a polite autopilot formality similar to a handshake or a wave. However, for a woman, those brief seconds of physical contact serve as a high stakes evaluation that happens entirely below the surface of conscious thought. The moment your bodies meet, she isn't just saying hello. Her nervous system is performing a comprehensive biological scan of your character. She is reading the tension in your muscles, the rhythm of your heart, and the steadiness of your touch to determine your level of true confidence and masculine presence. In the span of a single shared breath, a woman's subconscious is answering three critical questions. Are you grounded? Can I trust you? And is there a spark worth pursuing? If you are stiff, hesitant, or overly eager, your body communicates a lack of self-assurance that she feels instantly. This is why a woman might suddenly go rigid or pull away prematurely. She has sensed a mismatch between your words and your physical energy, and her instinct is to create distance. A failed hug sends a message of social awkwardness or hidden anxiety, while a mastered hug acts as a silent conversation that establishes you as a man who is comfortable in his own skin. By understanding the specific psychological triggers involved, you can transform a standard, forgettable embrace into a magnetic experience that leaves her feeling profoundly safe and uniquely drawn to you. The most common mistake men make during an embrace is the coworker tap, that hesitant, flimsy patting motion on the back that feels more like a nervous habit than a genuine gesture. This awkward tapping communicates a lack of confidence and actually prevents a woman from feeling comfortable, as it signals that you are unsure of yourself or the interaction. To fix this, you need to utilize the anchor touch. As you bring her in for a hug, place one hand firmly and intentionally on her upper back, specifically in the space right between her shoulder blades. This isn't about being aggressive. It's about providing a solid, unmoving point of contact that acts as a physical anchor for her. This specific area between the shoulder blades is psychologically significant because it is where the human body naturally stores the weight of stress and the tension of the day. When you apply grounded, steady pressure to this spot, you are speaking directly to her nervous system rather than her logical mind. It sends an immediate, primal signal that she is being supported and covered by someone who is stable and capable. By holding that position with stillness, you demonstrate that you are a protective and centered force. The result is almost instantaneous. When she feels that firm, consistent support, her subconscious defenses begin to drop. She stops being on guard and will instinctively relax her weight, melting into the hug because she finally feels safe enough to let go. In our fast-paced world, most social interactions are rushed and mechanical, making deliberate stillness a true power move. Many men make the mistake of releasing a hug the very instant their bodies touch because they are plagued by the fear of coming across as creepy or weird. However, this nervous haste actually backfires. It kills attraction by signaling that you are uncomfortable with physical closeness, or worse, that you are apologizing for your own presence. To create a lasting emotional imprint, you need to master the intentional pause. This involves holding the embrace for just half a second longer than the standard social expectation. It is a subtle shift, but that tiny window of time is where the polite hello transforms into a genuine connection. This extra half second is not about being clingy or refusing to let go. It is about demonstrating that you are a man who is entirely comfortable with intimacy. By not rushing to break the contact, you shift the entire subtext of the moment. You move away from the transactional hug, the one people do just because they have to, and move into an intentional space that says, I am present with you, and I genuinely enjoy the way you feel in my arms. This brief pause creates a psychological flicker in her mind. It sparks a sense of curiosity and makes her body register your warmth and strength more deeply. Because you didn't rush the exit, you leave her with a vivid sensory memory of the interaction, ensuring that she continues to think about that specific moment long after you have both stepped away. Women possess a high level of intuition when it comes to masculine stability, and your breathing is the most honest indicator of your internal state. When a man is overthinking the interaction or feeling social anxiety, His breath naturally becomes shallow and his muscles tighten, subtle physical cues that a woman picks up on the moment your chests touch. If she feels that tension, her own body will instinctively mirror it, causing her to remain on guard. To counteract this, you must use the calming exhale. As you bring her into the embrace, take a slow, deep, and controlled breath out. This isn't a dramatic sigh. It's a quiet release of air that signals your entire body is at ease. By doing this, you trigger a biological process known as co-regulation. Humans are wired to sync their nervous systems with those around them. When your body is genuinely calm and centered, her nervous system will begin to mirror yours. As she feels your chest rise and fall in a steady, relaxed rhythm, her own heart rate often slows and her muscles begin to soften. In that moment, you cease to be just another person she's greeting and instead become a sanctuary, a rare pocket of peace in a hectic world. She will begin to associate being in your physical presence with a profound sense of safety and groundedness. This feeling is incredibly rare and highly addictive because it allows her to step out of her head and into the present moment, creating a magnetic attraction that is felt rather than spoken. The cheek graze serves as the final critical bridge that transitions an interaction from a friendly encounter into something more intimate. Most men make the mistake of pulling straight back as soon as the hug is over, creating a sudden clinical gap between themselves and the woman. To elevate this moment, you should gently turn your head as you begin to separate, allowing your cheek to lightly and briefly brush against hers. This isn't a forced or aggressive move. It is a subtle, natural motion that feels like an accidental byproduct of being close. Because the face is a highly sensitive and personal area, this small graze crosses an invisible threshold, moving you out of the friend zone and into a space of genuine romantic tension. This micro moment of vulnerability is incredibly powerful because it is high voltage without being demanding. By creating that brief skin-to-skin contact near her face, you force her brain to process your physical proximity in a completely new light. It bypasses her logical thoughts and plants a subconscious seed of curiosity. Specifically, it makes her mind naturally wonder what it would feel like if you were even closer, such as during a kiss. It acts as the ultimate invitation without pressure, because you aren't asking for anything or making a bold move that she has to reject or accept. Instead, you are simply leaving her with a lingering sensory memory that keeps her wondering about your intentions. This creates a psychological loop in her mind, leaving her wanting more of your attention to solve the mystery of that spark. Executing the perfect hug is about stacking these subtle psychological layers into one fluid, confident motion. It begins the moment you decide to close the distance. You must move in with clear intent and zero hesitation, as any second guessing on your part will be felt as social anxiety. As your bodies meet, immediately establish your anchor by placing your hand firmly between her shoulder blades, providing that instant sense of masculine support. While you are there, resist the urge to rush the exit. Hold the embrace for that intentional extra beat, just long enough to signal that you are comfortable in her space, and let out a slow, steady exhale to ground both of your nervous systems. This sequence isn't about performing a stunt. It's about leading the interaction with a calm, unshakable energy that allows her to stop thinking and start feeling. The final touch happens in the release. As you begin to create distance, don't just snap away. Let your cheek naturally graze hers in a smooth, lingering motion that bridges the gap between a friendly greeting and a romantic spark. By combining these steps, you aren't forcing her to react or putting her on the spot. Instead, you are curating an environment where she feels both profoundly safe and quietly desired at the same time. This balance is exactly what creates a magnetic presence. When you master this physical dialogue, you stop being just another face in her social circle and become a man who stands out, someone who communicates strength and intimacy without saying a single word, leaving her thinking about that 3-second moment for the rest of the day.